It's toast teas.
Toast?
Ooh.
All right.
Toast teas.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Launching Us. This is the podcast where we talk about us becoming small business owners and the journey it takes to get there. This week we have a really special guest coming from Galveston, Pedro, the photographer. Really, I mean, more than just a photographer. He does a lot of different other things like that, but photography is his business, and we're just excited to hear from him. So this week, we kind of want to know, what do you do? What's your business? Tell us a little about that.
Well, at the moment, I am a full-time photographer. I born and raised in Galveston, Texas.
Yeah.
I've taken advantage of, a lot of the tourism that we have in the city. And fortunately for me, that's what's been keeping my business going. I do family portraits, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, small weddings, you name it. Pretty much whatever I come across, that's what we do. Am I looking at a camera or no?
No, I mean, you can. That's the main camera.
Okay.
But this one right here I have for you.
Okay.
And then this one's mine, and then
okay,
we'll go from there. Yeah, I've noticed that you've done that. You've capitalized on tourists.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Marketing wise, how are you doing that? I think that's more of an off camera thing, but that's just really nuts. Which is crazy because Galveston already has tons of photographers. There is a plethora of photographers in Galveston. If not, there are more rising every day. And I think it's because of the beach, it's because of the location, it's because of downtown, and because of tourists. Correct. There's so much, and then all the weddings and school, senior stuff, and all that stuff. But that's pretty nuts. What did you do before you started the business? What was that job like?
Oh man, before the business, I was working at a refinery in Chocolate Bayou in Alvin, and it was a tough job. It was, Monday through Thursday. Yeah, it was nice schedule, but I was overworked. I felt
10-4s. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, no, 4-10s.
4-10s.
Yeah, I'd be really bad.
Yeah.
But I was working at the plants. I did that for about 8 years, and photography was my side thing, And throughout the years, word of mouth from people just seeing my pictures with my son, my first son, Aiden, when he was born, I started taking pictures here and there and posting them. And slowly, my side job started becoming my main job while I was working over there. And it got to a point where I started feeling overwhelmed with, projects that I was doing with photos. And I started thinking, maybe I could one day do this full time. And then COVID hit, right? That came along. We had another baby. Me and my wife had another baby, my son Gabriel.
You had a COVID baby?
Yeah. No. He was born right before COVID. But he was at home pretty much the whole time during COVID, that first year. And, I invested in another camera, a better camera. And again, family and friends are seeing my work, and it kind of snowballed from there. I made a website, I made a social media account, dedicated to photography. And people started messaging me like, hey, do you mind doing something for my kids? Or, hey, can you come by and take some pictures of my daughter's graduation? And, I started posting those. And believe it or not, my own work became like commercials for me. People saw it and they were like, oh, that looks good. Let me hit him up. Let me call him. And then, I'd do that session and then post that. And then people would see that one and be like, hey, I like those pictures. And every time I posted pictures, it just kept coming. And February of 2021 was a very hard decision to make for me.
I would imagine because work is starting to open back up.
Correct.
Everyone's opening back
and
up
I have
after
kids.
COVID. Yeah.
And, I prepared for it. Mind you, I prepared for it, but it was still a scary decision. I had to, talk to my wife, tell her what I wanted to do, what I had in mind. I called my mom. I called my dad. I called my sister.
Advice from everywhere.
I was like, man, what do y'all think about this? Look, I'm doing this, and it's going well. And I have a very supportive family, a good backbone.
That's awesome.
And nobody told me anything negative. And I took the leap of faith and did it, and it's been the best decision I ever made.
That's
good.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yes.
I have a question. How did you go about deciding how you would market yourself?
Oh man,
Because it's weird because like you're doing most of the stuff on Instagram, right?
Instagram and Facebook.
And those platforms are moving towards video so heavily.
They have. They've changed a lot here recently.
Yeah. It's
getting hard. But
you're finding success. Like it's working.
yeah, it is. I ask my clients how they find me whenever I do photo sessions, and most of the time they tell me it's hashtags.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
They just hashtag, Galveston photographer, and they'll see a million
list,
pictures, whatever it is, and they'll click on the ones that they like, and they just happen to run up on my Instagram page. So hashtags, people use them.
Yeah, which
still work.
Which is crazy because there was a whole like thing on I think maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, how hashtags are not working.
Yeah.
But it kind of shows that it is. Like hashtags are working.
Yeah.
I want to make a comment about your website because I did research his website. Okay, so I just this is a kudos actually, a snaps. Man, I absolutely love how you put your schedule on the website. How people can literally book you right then and there. I absolutely thought that was genius. I was like, oh my God, I got to talk about that.
Man, I had to really do some homework on that. And it wasn't as hard as you would think it was, or it would be, but Squarespace. Remember that?
Yeah, that's what we have.
That platform right there is genius, whoever made it or whatever. But
thank you, Squarespace.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored by Squarespace, but if you want to sponsor me, Squarespace, I would definitely do it, Squarespace. I'll say Squarespace 10 more times to get a sponsorship.
Who?
Squarespace.
Oh.
Squarespace. You're not good at building websites? Use Squarespace. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm happily will be.
We could be, but we're not.
So that's so amazing. So how has that been for you?
It has freed up a lot of time for me, to tell you the truth. Before I had that calendar on there, I was constantly messaging people. There's nothing wrong with me messaging people.
Yeah, cold calls good.
Yeah, it's good. I communicate and we talk about what day or whatever. But when I added that calendar to my page, it changed everything for me. I'd be at the mall or wherever with my wife and kids at the park, and I'd get, notification, somebody just booked with you, just like that. And it happens all the time now. Like I could just be out and about and I don't even talk to these people, right? And it just happens.
Yeah. Do
that little sound again. Okay, got another one. And it feels good just for that to happen. Then it has their phone number, their email whenever they do their booking. So I just either send them a text directly, and obviously texting is the fastest way to get to somebody. So that conversation is very quick. Hey, I see you booked with me, and I'll be in touch with you the week of, and just make sure everything's going as planned. And everything is so seamless. Like so easy.
I would imagine that's a huge like confidence boost, because you're one, as a small business owner, like you said, there's that fear. You have 2 kids, you have a wife, everything that you gave up in a cushion job.
Yeah.
But now, like, you're getting people like reaching out to you without even talking to you, and you're booking. I feel like that's a huge confidence boost. Like, okay, I did make the right decision.
Yes. With that also, and Facebook is a very good platform too, as far as putting your business out there. I have people I
like the way you word that, because people put a lot of business up there.
Yeah, not that business. Not not your personal, private business, like your job, business. Your job business. I constantly get notifications. Hey, this person liked your page. I've never talked to this person in my life. How did they run into my page? You know what I mean? So it's like my friends' posts, and I appreciate everybody who has shared my work, because of course that's another way to get around. But I see people who I've never talked to or met that they like my page and they start following it. And then a few months later I hear, hey, I'm thinking about doing this for my kid, and here we go.
Yeah, what's your details on that stuff?
Exactly.
I know you talked about it briefly, like the support system. I would imagine that'd be a huge step. I know that's something we talked about in our podcast, was a huge support system, which we both kind of had 2 different experiences. She didn't really have too well of she had support system, but it was still like a lot of negative behind it.
And I think we've talked about this several times that like I was already very successful in my career and I was going towards a very specific trajectory and it was going really well. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey guys, I'm changing my career. Yeah. So my family was very not on board.
Yeah. So it was very different. But like for you, like what was the steps like mindset wise that you had to go through before like this is my 2 weeks, I'm out?
Okay. So when COVID happened, obviously things changed in the work industry. I would imagine everywhere. But where I was working, things seemed to be ramping up. Like, you know, really? We were steady. We were going. They were building the refinery bigger. They were adding more locations for our refinery. And mind you, I was the single one person that was doing my job at that entire plant. I was the only person. So if I called in, nobody else was going to do it for me. I showed up, I'd be behind, and I had to catch up, right? So whenever they started adding more jobs to me or giving me more work, and again, I wasn't getting compensated for it, that's when it became an easy decision. Like, hey, you know what? This isn't going to work out in the future for me. I don't want to stick this out. I don't want this to keep going because there came a time when, you know, or a few times when it was time for raises and those didn't happen. Yeah. But my job expectancy was raising, but my income wasn't, right? So I planned for it. And I was like, look, this photography stuff is working, or, you know, it's working on the weekends and I'm doing pretty well. Like sometimes I'd make what I did the whole week at the plants or whatever. I was doing that in 1 or 2 days on 2 good days, right? Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time. But, you know, I took the steps. It
does give you that light that, hey, this could happen. Yeah,
exactly. So I was like, what happens if I do this full time? So as far as planning goes, I knew that I wanted to do it. I knew that it was possible. So I prepared for it. I, you know, saved like about 1.5 years worth of mortgage. Mind you, I have 2 kids. It's scary to quit your job and not, you know. I saved 1.5 years of mortgage. All my photography equipment, I made sure it was paid for before I did that or I left, because I didn't want to owe anything back to my business, right? I wanted everything after or when I started on February 5th, 21, I wanted all that income to be mine. I didn't want it to be mine and then I'm going to hand it off to pay that bill over there. Yeah, no, I didn't want that. So I prepared. It was scary, and fortunately for me, I haven't had to rely on that backup. So it's been good. That's steady. Awesome. I feel like I've had a lot of repeat customers who, you know, I've actually experienced little journeys with them. Like I've had customers who, you know, I've met when they were first boyfriend and girlfriend, and then I took pictures of them getting married, and then I took pictures of them pregnant. Their pregnancy reveal. Now they're talking. You know, we're doing pictures for the baby when he comes or she comes. Actually, it's a he. And then just that client alone has gotten me other work. Like he's you know, introduced me to his company, and I've done work for his company, and that's just one client. You know what I mean? So
it snowballs.
Yeah, it snowballs, and it's been good for me. I'm yet to have a bridezilla situation. And I say that with, I mean, like a client that's given me a hard time. I think everybody's been pretty pleased with my work. I haven't got any negative feedback yet, so I'm proud of that.
I know that's something that we like. We love your work. I think it's great. Thank you. You're an also Canon user, which I like. Nothing against Sony. There are a lot against Nikon. Sorry, Nikon users. I know a few.
I know a few of those.
But they're great images. They're great cameras. Just, you know, just all Apple, Android type of stuff. But I've noticed that, like, you've been steady growing. There's steady stuff there, and I feel like that's a lot of success on the hard work, a lot of success towards the support system.
Correct.
Like, it's a real big thing. So, like, one of the biggest things that I think that I would love to hear is what would you tell yourself pre-COVID? Like, if you can go back in time and say, 2018, 2017. Like, Pedro, why didn't I do this yet?
Yes, that's exactly why didn't I do that yet? Or why? Man, if I could go back to like 2018 and man, I would have just told myself, yeah, why haven't you done that yet? Or why haven't you even thought about it yet? Because I don't think I was thinking that. I was more concerned of just, coming home after work and making sure that we had what we needed for the house and the kids. And it was so normal for me just to have that steady check from that employer. And I'm not to, I'm not to talk down on them. No, I'm very grateful for what they provided for me or helped me accomplish. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that job.
Yeah.
But, I wish I would have told myself not to be afraid to take that leap or to think outside of the box a little bit, to imagine doing something on my own. Because that wasn't even a thought that I had. I just figured I was going to work forever and that was going to be a job or I was going to have something similar like that.
You get the retirement, all the other stuff that goes with it. Yeah.
So
what was the moment? What was the moment that you were just like, can you remember what was the moment that you were just like, what am I doing? I got to get out of here. I got to do this. I can do this.
The moment was a weekend. I felt overwhelmed with photography work. I felt like I wasn't going to finish a project. My thing is when I do people's photos, I want their stuff to be done, not in a rush, but in a timely manner. I don't rush anybody's work, but I had like 4 photo shoots that one weekend, like 2 a day, right? And I wanted to get it done. And I remember I was working over there. So on my lunch break over there, I would take my iPad with me and like do like the basic editing, like the straighten out the cropping, maybe adjust brightness, and, whatever. And it would obviously upload to the cloud and, at home I'd get on the Lightroom or whatever. And I just felt overwhelmed. I was frustrated. I was like, man, I'm getting a lot of work right now. And I just knew that, man, if I just had 7 days a week to do this, I could be done with this already, and I could probably start on another couple projects already. I could get ahead. And I don't know, that was about, I'd say right when 2020s happened or late 19 or 20, I knew that could happen. Or I had that mindset already, like, oh, maybe I should try to
How long
do it full time.
Did it take before you said it to someone else?
It took a very long time.
Yeah.
I prepared for it.
Like outside of family?
Everybody. I didn't tell nobody. I didn't even tell my wife that I wanted to do it. I was kind of embarrassed to tell her. Just because I didn't want her to worry about, what if it fails or what if it don't work? Mind you, she does a lot for our kids. That in itself is a handful.
Heck yeah.
And imagine having your husband telling you, hey, I want to quit my job to do pictures. I mean, I didn't want to put that stress on her, right? So I kept it from her for a long time. And then finally, when things started getting real heavy on me, man, I remember the day. I called her crying from work. I was so frustrated. I was like, I don't know if I could do this any longer. I don't want to do this any longer. Like, I know I could do that. I want to do just that. And she told me, go for it. Just like that.
That's awesome.
Here's a follow-up to that. How's the level of happiness in your home? Because obviously there's still stressful moments on the business. Course. There's all that stuff. But like level of happiness in your household, you having your own business, wife supporting you, family supporting you. How's that level?
I feel great. Personally, I feel great. Happiness and being able to be with my kids and be at home and do whatever I want in a sense, it's amazing. There's nothing like it. You still have to have the discipline to do the work.
Yeah, of course.
To get up and finish and do whatever it is that you have to do. But there's nothing like what it is now at home. Yeah. It's a whole lot different. Obviously, I don't have a schedule anymore. My schedule is, hey, somebody booked for 5 o'clock tomorrow. So that means at 8, 9, 10 in the morning, it's whatever. I could go eat breakfast. I go run some errands. I could work on pictures. I could play with my kid if I want. If I just happen to be really tired, I could take a nap. You know, I couldn't do that before. It's different. But
it's also travel time, going from work, come home.
You have to have that discipline though to make sure you get the job done, to give people their stuff in a timely manner, but you also have those freedoms to live and enjoy your kids. And
one of the things that I think I've noticed talking to a bunch of people kind of similar in our age group, is there's that desire to get a career job where you are set, you have a retirement, you have health insurance, you have everything that you need that our parents and grandparents told us what we need. But at the same time, there's a lot of us that are like, but I want to do this. Yeah. And if I had that, I would get more time with my family and I would do things like that. And I think at least in our age group, there's that tug and pull. And especially, I would imagine it's in the 30s, late 20s, early 30s range where people are like, I could do this. Yeah. I still have enough time. I can do it. And it's just funny that I've seen that a lot more with people in our age group around the same age thinking, I can start my own business. And this is the perfect time to do that.
Yeah, it is. And
I mean, starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, starting Etsy.
It's a real good time to start doing that. And I mean, you're much. I would hope that you'd be mature enough to know what your finances are, where you're at mentally, you know, if you're stable with your mortgage. I mean, you know where you're at.
Yeah, there's questions you have to ask yourself for sure.
But man, somebody with just a little bit of drive nowadays could do anything. I mean, all the gear, all the platforms, they're there. It's just, you know, taking that next step and saying, you know what, this could fail. But if I put my effort in it, the worst that's going to happen is a learning experience and whatever. Yeah. You know, but if you don't even attempt to do that, you've already failed. I mean, you didn't even.
I think we had a conversation. I was like, what if this fails? Well, I guess we go move back in with your parents. And I was like, that's not too bad. Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's. Yeah. I'd rather try and succeed versus never doing it ever in my life, and then getting to my 80s and being like, I should have done it. Like, I should have tried.
That's what I was afraid of, to be honest with you. I was afraid of just becoming an old man that my kids saw beat up from work. And I didn't want them to see me become that and not have spent that time with them to play with them and grow with them. Man, I could do all those things now. Yeah. I could
that's so
go
cool.
outside. I could play. I could run. I don't, but I should.
I mean, it's different coming home after a 9-to-5 job or a 10-hour shift and your boy like, let's play catch. I'm tired. Yeah. Or what are you going to do this weekend? I just want to rest this weekend. Like, I don't even want to do anything. Like, I'm still in the middle of having a full-time job and running this, and there are still moments where I'm like, okay, I got to force myself up. My son he just ended his last baseball game. Wednesdays, I'm the most energetic I possibly can be. I come home, I'm ready to go do it. Let's go. Yeah. And inside, I'm like, I'm tired. I've been up at 6 this morning or 5 this morning. I'm exhausted. Like,
you'll still have those moments.
But for sure. But it's different. My wife and I talked about that before. It's different when it's your business. I'm just making my employer. I'm just making my employer rich. I'm not making myself rich. Like my pay's still the same. And so like. Exactly. It's tough, but I've noticed that very much so. Like in our age group, there are people wanting to start a business, and that's kind of the reason why we started this podcast. Was if you're there, take the risk, do it while you're still doing your regular your job. Do it as a side hustle. Give it a test the waters, and like saying, okay, is this possible? Have one of those weekends where you do 2 shoots, or you make a lot of money that weekend. And like, I could possibly do this. Yeah. I made more here than I did a week on my 40-hour job.
And that's just a weekend of regular photos. I mean,
regular
you have weekends
work,
with quinceañeras or sweet 16s.
Yeah, I mean, imagine doing a full week of regular headshots or photo shoots, and then on the weekend you got those big weddings or quinceañeras that are triple, sometimes quadruple the price of a regular studio session. Right. So like, it's possible for anybody who wants to start a business. I know we talked to somebody. I talked to somebody some this week, and they started their side hustle of doing like screen printing T-shirts. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, I'm excited for you, and I hope it works out. I really do. because I mean he busts his butt at his regular job all the time, and so to see him do that is really cool. Then I have another guy that he just retired, and I was like, man, I can't wait to see what you do after this. And like I don't know if he was expecting for me to say that because he's a lot older because he's just retired, but like just because you retire doesn't mean like you become a couch potato.
No,
there's so much more. You have so much more life that you could do, and so.
I think I like one of the things that you said was that you prepared for it. And I feel like that is such a key thing for people to keep in mind when they are going into having their own business is to prepare thoroughly. I love how you said like that. And I think that one of the things that you also talked to is consistency, is like having that work ethic, right? And
Correct.
so like I think that what Juan is saying is definitely absolutely awesome. Like if you are like someone in your 30s.
There's still time.
There's still time.
Or 40s, there's still time.
Yeah,
If you're in your
40s, there's still
not-
time.
yeah.
50s, you can still do it too. You can change
Yeah.
your lifestyle.
But keep in mind, like, it's consistency, it's your work ethic, and then it's also preparation.
Yeah.
You know, prepare yourself for what you're about to go into.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like people work all their week to get to the weekend, and then like kind of in a work mindset, you kind of blow the weekend because you're not working. These are opportunities to test the water. Is this going to work? Is this something I can do? Can I start an Etsy page and sell jewelry? Can I do facials, or like our sister-in-law? Can I do nails on the weekend and make some extra side money? Or
and be consistent with
Now,
it.
now speaking about weekends and you know, distinguishing those two, you know, your weekdays and your weekends. I don't know if this is for anybody else, but I don't feel like I have weekends anymore. I just have days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what day it is. I swear Mondays sometimes feel like Saturdays, or Wednesdays feel like it should be a Friday.
for sure.
But it is just so weird now. Like, I don't have that. Like, one thing that people say about, you know, having your own business is that, oh, you get to do whatever you want, da, da, da. And then, to a sense, that's true. But one thing that I, as a business owner, cannot do is clock out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss that. I miss being able to clock out and saying, screw this, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll think about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in 2 years, or damn near 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that I do miss, is just being able to clock out and be like, oh, I don't have to think about that. Because all day, I mean, I could probably look at my phone right now. I could probably have a message or an email. You have to respond. I'm thinking about my gear, what do I need to buy, what I need to change, my printer, hey, I need paper, I need ink, my, you know, website, I need to pay this, that, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's always something. And yeah, you know, I do go out and have a good time with family and, you know, friends or whatever, but even then, I'm not off. Somebody could call me and I have to take that call. I'm not going to put them on hold, because that is my life right there. You know, that is my income or
That's
whatever.
lights,
That's,
food, gas.
exactly.
Yeah, that's all kinds of stuff right now. I think it's really cool. Like, I think the journey of like becoming a small business owner, seeing how that goes there in your life, I think it's such a crazy journey. And I tell myself all the time, sometimes with you, sometimes not without you, is, man, I should have done this sooner. Like, I should have just done this sooner. I would be so much further along. I would be, I'd probably be able to quit my job by now. There's so many other things that could happen, but I'm also really excited that I did it now. Mentally, maturely, I think we're there. I think we have a good relationship as a married couple. You know, like, I think we can do it. I do want to say, I think it's cool, like, that you are able to tell the journey of life through people in your photography. I would love to do one day a wedding, and then 10 years later a divorce. The same couple.
You know what? Funny you say that. Funny you say that, because I just had somebody want my services for something like that.
Yeah.
Like a divorce party.
I did their wedding pictures, and it hasn't even been a year. And the bride calls me or texts me and says, "Hey, I'm so and so. Remember you did our wedding pictures?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And she's like, "Well, I want to do some divorce pictures." And I started laughing. I was like, "You put LOL, you know, whatever." And then she's like, "No, I'm for real." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Oh, you're serious?" I was like, I haven't done one of those yet. But we can try.
Awesome.
Whatever y'all want to do.
I was so I'm such a fan of yours.
Thank you.
I wanted to say that because Juan and I both follow you on our personal pages as well as on Aveo.
Yeah.
And
Same with Sandy. I think no offense to any other photographers in Galveston, but for sure, I think because I know you guys, there's like history as friendship, and then like there's that like, dude, I want to support him.
Yeah.
Like I want to support.
We have to. We have to.
Yeah, we have to.
Also, I really love. I think Sandy is so. I think maybe because we've worked with her before. Well, we were doing video and she was doing photography. She's just so good at capturing these wedding moments.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
She's a director. She could
for sure
direct
absolutely.
the process.
I mean, imagine what she can do with it.
I've seen her in work before, and she'll line everybody up. She'll direct the event. She'll say, "Hey, get here, and it's a breeze."
Absolutely.
That's something that not
everybody has.
Yeah, not everybody has it.
Nobody has it.
I love that you guys said like we have to support each other, because one of the things that I've heard so many times is that we're not each other's competition.
No.
We're each other's picker-uppers.
No,
we're each
not.
other's like support.
We're not.
And there's enough
Work.
people and enough work for all of us.
Correct.
I just wanted to talk to one of the things that we talked about before we went on camera was your ability to market specifically to tourists. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We're talking about the hashtag thing, or did we talk about that?
Yeah, we talk about hashtags.
Oh, was that how you're getting the tourists?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So hashtag thing. I don't know if we said that on recording or
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, we
probably,
got
I don't
it.
remember. This tea's getting to me.
It's got a little extra.
Well,
got a little extra
here's
tea
the
in there.
question. Are these tourists that are coming into the island and then they just go...
Look, about 90% of my clients are tourists.
Really?
They're people coming from Houston, Dallas, out of state, and they come and rent at these beach houses or Airbnbs, and they want family portraits at the beach.
Wow.
So that is majority of where I make my income is, tourism from that.
And is it because they can book you immediately from your website?
Yeah.
Wow, that is...
Most of the time I don't even talk to them until they actually book. Then I, make contact with them and say, hey, I saw you booked. What do you have in mind? And they'll tell me, oh, my family, of 10 or my family of 5, we're going to be in Galveston this weekend. And we're hoping that you get some good pictures of us. And we're like, oh, of course, where do you want to go? Do you have something in mind?
That's so amazing.
We figure all that stuff out and we're done. And
That's
we'll meet.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so really it's just marketing through the hashtags.
Yeah. Hashtags, Instagram. And actually, a lot of people go directly to my website. I don't know how they find me, but I'm assuming that they probably put like Galveston photographer on Google. And
you're popping up.
I'm popping up on there. So
what hashtags are you specifically like really?
Oh man,
like very.
You're gonna give his tips away, man.
I know. I mean,
No.
This is secret.
Nah. There's like she said, there's plenty of work out there. If I got them all, I'd be going nuts. Hey, no way I could do it.
No, well, specifically,
we would be on your podcast.
How are you?
Yeah, we'd be on my podcast.
How are you specifically finding your hashtags? Are you using a specific app? Are you using?
No, just very basic about it. I'm on there, hashtag Galveston photographer, hashtag Galveston Island, whatever, anything Galveston that people want to hashtag, because most likely when you go on vacation, you're going to want to look at Galveston. So people are hashtagging or looking at pictures of Galveston.
Yeah.
So when my picture just happens to be on one of those hashtags and they click on it and they're like, oh, look, he does pictures. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
You have to have your stuff ready, though. You can't, like your website. I just recently got a personal, like a business phone number, right? Like I hesitated on that one, but it's actually been a little good for me.
So you have a second cell phone, or is it?
No, I have both numbers on one phone.
Oh,
you can
that's
now
neat.
do business on
That's neat.
So, and it'll tell you too if it's a business call or they're calling your personal line.
That's
so it'll
so
tell you.
cool.
So I could, either say what.
I'm so thrown off that you don't know this.
I could either answer and say,
where I had no idea.
I could either answer and say what, because I know somebody's trying to sell me a warranty, or if I see his business, I'd be like, hey, this is Pedro. Whatever.
I also noticed you put a little white voice on
Well,
that.
because I know when I was working for the nonprofit, I used to be able to change my phone number to 00000 because of
That's the only reason I knew it was you.
confidentiality.
Yeah.
So I knew that we could do that to our phones, but not.
So I did that because, again, I wanted to know what type of phone call I was getting, if it was going to be a spam call or if it was just whatever. But if it went to my personal or my business number, I would know that somebody saw that number, because even when I picked the number, you somewhat pick the number when you go get a new phone number. I picked the one that had the newer, like instead of like 762, which is like the old school numbers, or 795. I picked like a different, I have to look at the number, but it's on my website.
Yeah.
www.pedrobusinessphotography.com.
Nice little pitch. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's cool. Like, I know that's something that I've been thinking about, trying to get a second phone. And even though I know that you can do 2 lines on one, I still want a second phone. Because I want my personal life not to be on social media, not to have Google ad access, not to have all that stuff, so I can be present with my family. And so I've been thinking about getting like a dumb phone, just so.
That's what I originally did. I had 2 phones, and then
it becomes I figure that's my other thing is like
I was walking around with 2 phones,
and I hated stuff in my pockets.
Yeah,
I hate stuff in my pockets.
I do too.
And I'm the kind of guy that wears a fanny pack, and it's weird, but at least nothing's in my pocket.
Man, you're ahead of the game.
No, that's full dad mode right there.
That's the trend, man.
Awesome.
People down here just don't know about it.
Well, Pedro, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
We had so much fun with you on our channel here
Thank
today. Guys, go visit him on Instagram.
We'll put a link down in the description. Everything will be there.
Yeah, and visit his website. He is really fantastic, an amazing photographer.
Thank you.
And we're so happy that you joined us here this evening.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Please like, subscribe, and
all that
things.
stuff. I forget about that. All that stuff that needs YouTube likes and stuff. Now I'm all
Like, subscribe, hit the button.
Yeah, do all that stuff.
Great stuff.
So have a good one.
Thank you.